Hudson County View live and uncut. I'm your host, the guy that lifts barbell plates and eats T-bone steaks and still has a demeanor that's sweeter than a chocolate cake, John Arhitis. And of course, like we do every week, the latest and greatest in Hudson County news. We actually had a couple big news stories happen over the weekend. We heard from the U.S. Attorney's Office on Friday evening, a little after 6 o'clock, and a real bombshell. We heard that former Hoboken Assemblyman Carmelo Garcia, who was also an executive director of the Hoboken Housing Authority, got hit with a 25-count indictment in this Newark bribery scheme. So that's obviously a big story. We're going to talk about that in detail. We're also going to discuss the other big news item that occurred on Saturday, and this is involving the Oath Keepers. This is what's been described as a far-right group. Many have associated them with white supremacists. Now, as we spoke about last week, there was a Gothamist report that said that there may be Oath Keepers on the Jersey City police force. And we spoke with Councilman Solomon about that, as you recall. Now, since then, we heard from the HCPO, and they've confirmed that they're investigating local law enforcement for ties to the Oath Keepers group. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the long list of endorsements that have come down in the last 5 days or so. And, you know, obviously we're in the home stretch here. Election day's on November 2nd. Early voting, of course, starts on Saturday and will go through Halloween. So, you know, a lot to talk about there. And as I am every week, I'm joined with a guest. Today, I'm joined with Jersey City Council at-Large candidate Elvin Dominici. So all that and a whole lot more right after this commercial break.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
When you have 3 children who are police officers, you worry about them every day, but you are also proud. Under Mayor Fulop, 70% of new officers in Jersey City have been minorities. Mayor Fulop also upgraded our public safety cameras with over 200 new cameras and body cameras on officers, protecting citizens and police officers. Steve Fulop is my kind of mayor.
Hudson County View live and uncut. John Arhitis, as I mentioned a few moments ago, today I'm joined with Jersey City Council at-Large candidate Elvin Dominici. Elvin, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, John, for inviting me.
Very welcome. So obviously you were just here last night, and while I had no part in this particular debate, the Hudson Media Group at-Large debate, just for those that may not have had a chance to watch, just give us a brief summation of what you said at the debate and why you thought you were qualified to serve on the governing body.
First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be in your show and talk to the residents of Jersey City. Basically, we talk about our platform, the things that we think, the things that we believe strongly that we need to change in Jersey City. We talk about that we need public school to be completely funded. We talk about accountability in the city council and city government, make sure that, you know, as an independent, whenever a resolution is passed or an ordinance, if the resolution is a benefit of the community, we're going to stand by that. If the resolution is not in the benefit of the community, we got to stand up and say, you know what, this is not going to work, and we need somebody to look at it better and make changes so they can actually work for the community. We talk about accountability, we talk about public safety, talking about that residents in Jersey City need a chance to stay here with more affordable housing, at least 20%. We talk about that the life is what is more precious in Jersey City, and we want to make sure that people on the south side that are dealing with crime and gun violence have an opportunity to have to opportunities to work, recreation, mentorship programs for the kids, so they have these opportunities to be off the street and have a better life.
All right, great. So with that in mind, why do you think you're a good candidate to serve on the council? Why do you think you're qualified to be a part of that, again, governing body?
I think the best quality for a public servant is not the accomplishments or the careers or preparation professionally. It's the commitment and loyalty to the community, especially to the residents of Jersey City. I believe strongly that Jersey City deserves good public servants, people that they can be proud of, people that are going to have their backs, council people that can listen to the needs of the community and that can stand by them. For the last 8 years, it's something that is being lack of the city government that we have. And I want to be that person, and it will be an honor for me because this place, Jersey City, is where I welcome my family and the people that I love and care are here, and that's why I want this opportunity.
So you've been pretty clear with your letters that we've published some, and of course made their way to other outlets as well. And you've said repeatedly that this administration has failed on public safety, on a state of emergency, on a whole cavalcade of other topics. So why did you feel it was necessary to put your voice to that?
Because sometimes people in power get too comfortable, and because they have money and resources, they believe that ordinary people cannot make a difference. I'm somebody that is running independently and not taking money for no developers. I'm speaking my mind. I'm not afraid of the administration or any retaliation. I'm somebody that have done a lot of good work with small businesses, with the community, because when somebody truly cares, you don't really need to be in a public office to do those changes. So and based on that, I felt that I needed to step up and just put myself on the line and work harder to make sure that the people of Jersey City get somebody in the city government that is worth it, that listen and respect our community.
So would it be fair to say that you think the current, I'd say 2 incumbents and also the third is Amy DeGise, who's running with the mayor, would you say that they basically are not the best picks because they're not going to do what's best for the residents? Is that how you look at it?
The way that I see it, John, is that when you get a position in office, you have a track record. It's not about me saying that you're good or bad. It's a track record of what you have done when you are elected. In the case of Amy DeGise, we all know that she was elected for the BOE, and when things got tough, she resigned it, and she left instead of fighting for the kids, for trying to get more funding for the public school. So for me, I wouldn't be putting my vote and my trust in Amy DeGise. I wouldn't put my vote on Joyce Waterman, somebody that haven't been able to actually met one of the commitments for public debate to defend her track record, somebody that flipped to use an ISO or inclusionary zoning ordinance that was work with all the community leaders and just back the one by the mayor and within weeks. And that was less than 5% and sometimes no affordable housing. It's the same thing with Rivera and most of the people at the council. They just don't raise no money, they don't have leadership within the community, so their voices are completely silenced by the will and pleasure of the mayor.
Okay, so now we heard this week that you're one of several candidates endorsed by the HACA PAC, the Democratic Political Alliance. So from what I could find, they don't have any public filings yet. So what does this endorsement mean to you, and how do you think this plays a role on Election Day?
Hardworking people that come to this country and start businesses to provide services and provide employment, and sometimes they work between 12, 14, 15 hours a day. To me, it's an honor, and I have a very close relationship with the organization because I helped them to get organized when they were going through a lot of challenges. A lot of business were being closed back in 2015. And to be able to get the endorsement, it made me proud. It's another responsibility because we got small businesses, owners, and hardworking people that are saying that we can be the voices that they don't have right now in this city government.
So obviously it's not your PAC, but do you have any idea why they haven't filed yet?
Well, the situation, it's not my PAC. As you know, I just was selected. I cannot tell exactly why they haven't done it. But, the association is a business association, so they have a political arm that they can take decisions on. I don't know if they want to financially help somebody or they just want to simply just participate, but that's a question that you have to ask the people on the board of the DPA.
All right, makes sense. Just wanted to check in, but that's a good time to take another word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. John Arhitis, and I'm still joined with Jersey City Council at Large candidate Elvin Dominici. So, anyway, Elvin, I know you've spoken out previously about the water tax. I know you've spoken out against Suez. Just explain to us how you think those situations, or actually about waste removal too. So when we're talking about contracts like that, important vendors for the city, tell me, if you were on the governing body, how would you help try to resolve these situations?
The first thing that I would like to do is to make an audit to see whether there is a probability to bring those services back in-house, because I feel these contracts, we are not seeing the benefits of the payments that we're doing as a city and the taxpayer money. When we talk about the garbage collection, regional, international, I think is the name, industries, they leave more garbage behind that they actually picked up, and they get rewarded with another contract with $50 million. Now, when we talk about the water tax, there is no transparency on the government. How is it that the pickup of the garbage and the water are related? Still, we don't have an answer. So how is the transparency in the city government to tell the people of Jersey City that they're going to be charged for this water tax without any resolution of the city council? Is something done by the MUA, completely different, an independent agent that has nothing to do with, with taxes. We all know that that was done because they didn't want to have a tax on election year. In an election year, they want to collect the money that way. So the main thing here is take a look at these different contracts and see whether there is a probability to bring it in-house, whether it's the waste pickup, Suez, and see whether those benefits can be better for the residents of Jersey City.
Right. Well, the council's already talking about bringing regional in-house. They already put that resolution up, I think it was a month ago, talking about doing that third-party audit. So let's see what comes of that, right? But, when we're talking about Suez, it's a little more complicated, right? Because you can bring it in-house, and there is a handful of providers in the state, but there's not a lot. So a lot of people talk about Suez Water, and they basically say they're a monopoly. So what do you think is the best option if you had to take a guess?
Well, we just got to see what are the options available and how other cities are doing as far as those services, and just take a deep look at how the numbers can work for the best of the residents of Jersey City. At the end of the day, we got to talk about accountability. And what we cannot allow is that we have contamination on the water, and there is not an official announcement after hours, and businesses are being in jeopardy to be actually drinking water that is not good for them. So certainly we got to look into that, and certainly we got to hold them accountable.
Well, on that point, there's also an ad hoc committee now on the council, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes.
And they had their first meeting this week. So if you were on that ad hoc committee, what would be some questions you would like to ask the officials over at Suez?
I want to know what is the process that they take whenever there is an emergency like this, because the thing is, most of the problems that we have in Jersey City, we are reacting to it instead of having solutions before it happens. So I want to see the whole program step by step, how we take actions whenever there is contamination in the water, and how the outlets to get those information out to the people. And whoever is accountable for that has to, pay the price.
Okay. Now back on the purely political end, we're talking endorsements, right? The the Progressive Democrats of Hudson County gave their endorsement this week, and you were not included on that list. So did you submit your application back?
Yeah, I actually did submit my application. I embraced the progressive, ideology, and I was out there during the county seat elections on the primaries. I don't know. That's a question that you got to ask the people that direct that organization, right? Ron Batista and Hector Segura. I'm a Latino. I'm a minority. I'm, willing to help and work whoever. It doesn't have to be the progressive, because I'm running for the people of Jersey City. But that's a question that you got to ask them, why they didn't endorse me. Okay,
fair enough. Now, let's also talk about just anything else. When you're talking about, for example, COVID, your public safety plan, when you were responding to these state of emergencies, like what are some ideas that you have if elected?
When you talk about public safety, I think we do have a crisis in Jersey City, because I believe strongly that the administration is more focused on making profits with developers than actually saving life. And when you see politicians coming out and saying, crime is down 1%, homicide is down 1%, that percent is too high if the person that we're talking about is a loved one, it's your father, it's your mother, it's a sister. We don't have no programs in place for, to actually work with those families whenever those type of homicide happens. We don't see our current city officials coming out and having press releases and telling, this is the accident, this is what happened, because the accidents are happening in the south side of the city in Martin Luther King Drive. I bet if that happened in Washington Boulevard on downtown Jersey City, the approach will be differently. So to me, to be a council person is to put people first, to make sure that we have an office of violence and prevention like Newark, where we can allocate resources for the budget, and that way we can provide options for these families. That's something that we can look into it and see if we can establish here in Jersey City as well.
All right, thanks, Elvin. So any closing thoughts before we let you go today?
Oh, I just want to say to the people of Jersey City that coming election day, you have options for people that really care and really want to do the best for the older residents, that you deserve public servants, people that are going to listen, people that are going to action on the best of the community, that we have already 8 years of this administration that have proven throughout their actions that the focus is on making profits and not really helping the community. I'm the person that I want to lead the way. I want to be trusted with your vote. My name is Elvin Dominici, vote 7B, and let's make it happen November 2nd.
Elvin, thank you very much again.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, but we're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Ford made their first all-electric SUV a Mustang. Rapid acceleration, reactive handling, 300-mile range. You control how it feels and how it sounds. It knows you. It dials into your preferred settings. It has an array of driver assist technology. Cameras and sensors enhance your awareness and provide you with additional control. But it's more than cutting-edge technology. It's the spirit of it. It's a Mustang.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Did you know Jersey City was one of the first in the country to take action on the coronavirus? Face masks mailed to everyone. The first to offer free COVID testing. And Mayor Fulop also got direct cash relief to help residents pay rent and small businesses stay open. Now he's working to vaccinate as many residents as possible, with vaccine centers in every neighborhood and free Uber rides for seniors. Steve Fulop is my kind of mayor.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John R. Highness. So like I said, we had a couple big stories from the previous weekend, so let's talk about that. So from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Carmelo Garcia, again, a former assemblyman and also a former Hoboken Housing Authority executive director, actually also an ex-deputy mayor in Newark, which is where this indictment stems from, was dropped on Thursday evening. So he was allegedly soliciting corrupt payments in exchange for helping them acquire and redevelop properties. This is all again, according to acting U.S. Attorney Rachel Honig. So he's 45 years old, and he's also charged with Frank Valvano Jr., who's 52 of Florham Park, and Urid Blowski, 60 of Springfield, co-owners of New Jersey-based pawnbroker and jewelry business. They're all charged with one count of conspiracy to defraud the city of Newark and the NCEDC of Garcia's honest services facilitated by the use of interstate wire transmissions, so a very specific charge there. The NCEDC refers to the development portion of the Newark city government that Garcia used to be the deputy mayor of. And that's 17 counts of honest services wire fraud and 4 counts of use of interstate facilities to promote and facilitate bribery in violation of the Travel Act. On top of that, Garcia is also charged with 3 counts of receiving bribes in connection with the business of a federally funded local government and organization, while Valvano and Sablasky are additionally charged with 3 counts of offering those bribes. So obviously this is a very comprehensive indictment that went before the federal grand jury here. So beyond that, the details are quite interesting to say the very least. From at least 2017 through April 2019, while serving as the deputy mayor, and prior to that as what is now known as Invest Newark, that's the NCEDC, Garcia saw and received significant monetary payments and other benefits from Valvano and Sablasky and others in exchange for the use of his official positions and influence. So specifically, he is said to have received jewelry, multiple high-end watches and chains, and a Rolex watch with a selling price of $8,900, a Cartier watch with a selling price of $3,295, an Omega watch with a selling price of $7,295, and a chain with a selling price of now $9,345. And there's a whole lot more. This is a very comprehensive, again, indictment, 33 pages. But the short of it is phone records and text messages obtained by law enforcement show extensive communications between Garcia, Valvano, Sablasky, and others throughout a period of time, including text messages in which Garcia arranged to personally collect cash provided by Valvano and Sablasky. There was one instance detailed in the criminal complaint that came out almost exactly a year ago that detailed Garcia meeting them at a restaurant, and they put money in a gym bag and they exchanged it by sliding it under the bathroom stalls. So some really specific details in here, alleged, of course, by these federal prosecutors. So talk about another instance where in June 2018, Garcia, who was the acting deputy mayor and director of the city's Department of Economic and Housing Development, received an envelope containing $25,000 in cash that was allegedly supplied by Valvano through an intermediary, and that was also in a restroom in a New Jersey restaurant, again, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. So you could go on, but I could go on, but I think you get the point. Obviously, this is a pretty serious indictment, and the honest services fraud, conspiracy, and honest services wire fraud charges each carry a maximum potential penalty of 20 years in prison. The Travel Act charges carry a maximum potential penalty of 5 years in prison, and the bribery concerning governments receiving federal funds charges each carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. And we are awaiting arraignment on this case. So obviously that is really quite something, I think is safe to say. And we're going to talk about another quite something I think you could put under that same category. And this is the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office investigating the potential existence of oath keepers in the local law enforcement. So, again, there was this Gothamist WNYC report from last week that came out on Wednesday. They said that they received a hack of hundreds of records from current and retired public officials, mostly law enforcement, and that included many in North Jersey, including the Jersey City Police Department. Jersey City officials declined to comment. Councilman James Solomon, the Ward E rep, he spoke to me on the show about this for a few moments last week, and we've since heard from Mayor Fulop and Challenger Lewis Spears, and also Chief Municipal Prosecutor Jake Hudnut in subsequent debates. But the most important part, I should say, is Hudson County Prosecutor's Office spokeswoman Jennifer Morrell said there are obvious concerns about any member of law enforcement participating in a group such as this. We are investigating this matter, and because it also affects multiple law enforcement agencies across the state, we have reached out to the Attorney General's Office for guidance. Any relevant information we uncover may be shared with the FBI or other law enforcement agencies. Also of note, if you read that Gothamist report from top to bottom, they mentioned that there was an HCPO detective that was found on this list. So he's denied involvement when speaking with Gothamist, though he is listed on the New Jersey Oath Keepers website. So certainly that's something to keep an eye on for future reports, follow-ups on this story. And also, if you're not familiar with the Oath Keepers, the Anti-Defamation League describes them as, quote, right-wing, anti-government extremists who are part of the militia movement, which believes that the federal government has been co-opted by a shadowy conspiracy that is trying to strip American citizens of their rights. So we're going to take one more commercial break. We'll be right back.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City. shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John Arhitis. So this is really a national story, but a clear local angle because there was a rally on Tuesday evening at the Grove Street Plaza in Jersey City, and we saw activists urging the New Jersey congressional delegation to pass and really support the Philippine Human Rights Act, in hope of its eventual passage. So long story short is they want to see the end of the U.S. financial support for the regime of Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte. And, we heard from quite a few activists, including Ives Bunko of the Malaya movement, and they said they're jailing and killing regular people like you who only wanted a better life for themselves and are systematically murdered by the Philippine government under the dictatorial rule of Rodrigo Duterte. So obviously those are some pretty strong words, but they seem to be pretty much on point, for those of you that are following these international issues. So beyond that, he continued that more than $700 million of our tax money has been sent to fund the Philippine military and the Philippine National Police. These are our tax dollars that could have stayed in our community to fund social services, to fund housing that is badly needed in Jersey City, to fund jobs, to fund infrastructure, to fund our crumbling infrastructure here in Jersey City, but instead it's being sent halfway across the globe. So that was a message that seemed to resonate with the crowd there. So the point, as far as the congressional call, is there's a lot we could do in Jersey City. There are 4 legislators in New Jersey that are part of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and we have U.S. Rep. Albio Series, who of course his district includes largely Hudson County. We also have U.S. Reps Andy Kim, Tom Malinowski, and Chris Smith, and they continue that none of them has co-sponsored the Philippine Human Rights Act, stand for human rights, stand for democracy, and stand for the people who only want civil liberties, who only want democracy. So that was quite an interesting one. We filmed the whole rally streamed on our Facebook page, and you could watch that. So speaking of congressional races, we don't talk about the 10th congressional district very much. That's mostly a Essex County district, but that does impact part of Bayonne and a part of Jersey City as well. And I think it's worth noting, obviously, since we wrote about it, that Manny Oakley, a challenger to U.S. Rep. Donald Payne Jr., actually out-fundraised him 10-1 in the third quarter of 2021. So that's an interesting wrinkle leading up to the primary for June of next year. So those exact tallies were that she raised, just hang on one second, $136,983.28 compared to $67,864 for Payne. So, there's a lot more detail there. We could talk about who donated and who has PAC money and who doesn't. But also of note, before we call it a day, is that Ward E Councilman James Solomon donated $500 to Oakley back in June. So with that, we're going to call it a day, but we're not done yet as a whole, because I'll see you this evening at 6 p.m. We have a mayoral debate that'll be co-moderated between myself and Pat O'Melia, who is, of course, the producer of Hudson Media Group. So we'll see you then.